supposed to be saying that or praying for that?
Okay.
I have a question to that, Bill.
Yeah.
So let's say you praying for someone to change, whatever. Could it be that, like, could God be showing you, well, them not changing is telling you to stop praying for it? Is that kind of an instance that you're saying? Like, nothing's happening, so in other words, this is not the prayer you need to be. I'm trying to make y'all understand this question.
I understand what you're saying. I'm
Praying out of frustration.
Yes. Sometimes people pray out of frustration, desperation.
Yeah.
I think what Gail just described was you were praying and your mind wasn't ready to pray and you just wandered off.
Yeah, so it's like, I'd be like, okay, I was focused when I started, but then it's like, I just got lost in it. So I'm like, okay, then, you know, so that's what I meant about how, that's how I was thinking, like what you were saying, like, so I guess it would be kind of out of frustration too.
Yeah. But y'all still didn't answer my question.
What? So would that be?
Will God tell you not to pray for something for?
No.
I don't believe it.
Y'all don't know your Bible.
I don't believe it.
Y'all need to read what I just told y'all. Read. We finna read it. Because here in the text, let me just go and set it up because y'all been too slow. Here in the text, Jeremiah 7, the Lord told Jeremiah what to tell the people. And the people didn't do what God told them. They didn't do what Jeremiah instructed them to do, and God said, leave them alone.
I said, take your hands off of that.
God said, leave them alone.
Yeah.
That's what God, we going to read it in a minute. I believe that there are some people, and back to what Tanika said, I'm glad you said that. First of all, I don't believe that you need to pray for people to change. I believe that you need to pray for yourself. Because your prayer can't change, folks. If I decide, watch this, let me help you. Because see, I think sometimes the saints make stuff that's non-spiritual, spiritual. If I decide that I want to step out on my wife, me, Jeff Thompson, I don't care how much Holy Ghost y'all think y'all got. I don't care how much laying on hands, speaking in tongues y'all do. If I make up in my mind, that's what I want to do, I'm going to do it. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
All right, okay. It's just like when the doctor tell you, you need to lose some weight. What you do? What do you do? Do you pray about that? No, you don't pray about that. You tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna do right, and then this what you do. Somebody, Jacquez, can you bring something in the house, and you say you want to die, and this what you will say. Well, you shouldn't have brought it in here. I'm just gonna eat it. Now, who fault is it? You the one said you was on the diet. You can't make everybody, watch this, adapt to what you going through. Because when you make up your mind you're going to lose weight, well, she bring 4 sweet potato pies and 2 cheesecakes. If this is what you want, like I tell my wife all the time, I ain't on what you want. I tell her quick, I ain't on what you want. I'm going to eat. I want my chicken fried, dyed, laid to the side. I don't want it baked. I want to pull it off. I ain't going to pull the skin off of it and just eat the meat. I want it all. Right? So that's the choice that I make. But there are other choices that she makes. All right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that even sometimes when you say, I'm praying for this person to change, I'm going to be honest with you. When I start praying about other folk, God showed me myself. So you want to fix folks, get that out your mind. You can't fix because you can't fix yourself. Work on you. And I think what happens is a lot of our prayers don't get answered because our motives are, and not just picking on Tanika, but our motives are to change people. And you ain't God. It ain't your business to change folk. It's your business to love folk. That's the business you in. But what we try to do, we go to God with the wrong motive saying, oh, okay, you know, I need him to be like this. So I'm going to pray about it. No, I need her to be like this. So I'm going to pray about it. No, that ain't how it works. our motives got to be pure. I'm going to show you in the text why Jeremiah was told not to pray for the Israelites. Don't pray for them. Because in some people, it's just like a hard-headed child. What can you do with a hard-headed child when they make up their mind that's just what they want to do? What can you do? It's only so much whooping, or beating, all that. It's only so much that you beat them so long, you gonna get tired. That don't work. Until that child makes up in his or her mind that they want to do better, what nothing gonna happen? Back to the diet. You say you want to diet, you can't subject the whole house to be on the diet too. That's unfair. Amen. Hello? Hello? Amen. So I ain't gonna withhold. Watch this, because if you say you abstaining from something, then you ought to be able to be around it and it not bother you. But what happens is, in our minds, we want to abstain from some stuff, but the stuff we like, we just like. In other words, what it was, and this ain't. I'm just gonna be transparent. So my father just passed. So I hadn't had a soda this year until folks started bringing food to the mama house, and the Pepsis got on ice, and I said, well, ain't no water around here to drink. Let me go on. I told myself that. I drank one, and I drank two. I drank three, and I drank four. I drank five, and I drank six. I'm being honest. I drank seven, and I drank eight. And then some clicked in my mind.
Wait, you did this in one day?
Pretty much. I was stressed out. Some people pick up Budweiser, I picked up a Pepsi. Don't judge me. So was it the Pepsi fault for being in the Sonic ice? In the Sonic ice. You know, Sonic got that good ice. Was it the Pepsi fault for being in the Sonic ice in the styrofoam cup? Or was it my fault for yielding to it? I made that choice. I could have drunk the water out the faucet. Some of y'all, you know, y'all boozy now. Y'all don't drink water out the faucet. All right. So let's look at this. Let me show you. Because I don't want you to think I'm lying. Go to Jeremiah 7. Go to 1 through 4. Well, we're gonna read a little bit more than 1 through 4, but. We have a nation that just refused to obey God. And God is tired of them. And so God is telling Jeremiah what to tell them and how he's going to deal with them. And even God told Jeremiah, don't pray for the Israelites. Don't pray for them. That's why I asked you the question earlier. Does God say that? Y'all say no. Because see, that don't sound like, that ain't the God that you know. See, the God you know does all things well, but this God of this Old Testament, he ain't playing. That's why I tell folks, thank God for Jesus. All right, so let's look at verse 1. Well, we can start at 3, really. Verse 3. Somebody got it?
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, are many ways and doings, and I will cause you to dwell in this place.
Go ahead.
Trust ye not in lying words, saying, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these. For ye thoroughly amend your ways and your doings, and ye thoroughly execute judgment between a man and his neighbor. Ye oppress, not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk after other gods to your hurt. Then will I cause you to dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and ever.
All right. What verse is that? 7?
7.
All right, go to verse 8.
Behold, you trust in lying words that cannot profit. Will you steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baalim, and walk after other gods, and will know not, and come and stand before me in this house, which is called by the name, and say, we have delivered to do all these about the other nations. Is this house, which is called my name, become a den of robbers in your eyes? Behold, you I have seen, saith the Lord. And go ye now unto my place, which is in Shiloh, where I set my name at the first, and see what I did for the weakness of my people Israel. And now, because ye have done all these works, saith the Lord, and I spake you unto rising up early and speaking, but ye heard not, and I called you, and ye answered not. Therefore will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein you trust, and unto the place which I gave to you, to your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh. And I will cast you out of the sight, as I will cast out of your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. Therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them. Neither make
Wait, back up. Back up. Read that slow, because the saint said God don't tell you that. Go ahead.
Therefore pray not thou for his people, neither lift up cry or prayer.
What verse is that?
That's verse 16.
Y'all need to highlight that.
Therefore pray not thou for his people, neither lift up nor cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, where I will not hear thee.
All right, stop right there, because that took the saints too fast. So, the Israelites messing up, but the Israelites sound like us. He says, he pointed out some accusations. He said, let me see where he started getting on it. If you go back up to verse 8, he says, so basically you think you can rob and murder and have sex with neighborhood wives, tell lies non-stop, worship the local gods, and buy every novel religious commodity on the market, and then march into this temple, set apart for my worship, and say you're saved, thinking that the place itself gives you a license to go on with all this outrageous sacrilege. Do you think you can turn this temple set apart for my worship into something like that? Well, think again. I got eyes in my head and I can see what's going on. That's verse 11 in the Message Bible. So here's the thing. When you're praying with wrong motives, then your prayers you will hinder your prayers because your motives are not pure. If your whole motive, if your whole motive is when you come or when the word is being preached or when the word is being taught or when the word is being whatever, if your whole MO is that you thinking about folk other than yourself, then your motive wrong. I put in my notes, y'all wasn't gonna say that right now. Why do you listen to a sermon or why do you listen to a Bible study lesson and you think it's about somebody else? Because your motives are not pure. You're not being truthful with yourself when whatever's being taught and whatever's being preached that you can apply to everybody else's life but yours. So you mean you perfect? You got it all together? always somebody else. What's her motive? And so what the prophet, what God told the prophet Jeremiah to tell the Israelites, say, basically God said, I'm tired of y'all. You think because I ain't done nothing to you that I don't know what you're doing? That you come in my house like you doing me a favor? Like we do. We do that. We don't get, sometimes, I believe sometimes we don't even get this second thought. But the sad commentary is a whole lot of folks treat God like a genie. We only use him when we need him. Or I'm trying to get a house. In the next 6 months, I'm going to make sure we pay our time. We're going to go to Bible study. We're going to go to Sunday school. We're going to make sure. And then time you get what you want, you slap back off. That ain't how God works. God said, you think I can't, you think I ain't smart enough to know what you're doing? And I think sometimes we think we outsmart God. Back to when we pray, our motives being pure. When you pray, how many of us just, we do a prayer call every morning, and I ain't finna beg folks to get on no prayer call. Folks get up for what they want to get up for. The folks that get up at 6:30 or 6:35, whatever, I really get on there about 6:35. I'm up every morning at 5, sometimes 4:30. So I'm always up. I'm a morning person. When I get up, I'm there. And I realize that some people not morning people and everybody can't get on the phone. Some people at work. But I very rarely pray for myself. You know why? Because that ain't my motive for the prayer call. My motive for the prayer call is to pray for others. And when people say their prayer request, even if I had some, and somebody say, well, we praying for somebody in hospital. Oh, what I'm finna pray about don't even matter. That ain't real. Motives are pure. And so if you're praying about a situation is totally about the other person and about you, then you need to hush. Well, y'all quiet. Y'all all right? Okay. So Jeremiah was told not to pray for the Israelites. And we see why, because they were doing a whole lot of stuff. They had some issues going on. Verse 16, God told Jeremiah, don't waste your time praying for these folks. Verse 16, look at it. That's basically what he said. And you, Jeremiah, if you read it in the Message Bible, he says, and you, Jeremiah, don't waste your time praying for these people. Don't offer to make petitions or intercessions. Don't bother me with them. I'm not listening. God told Jeremiah that there comes a point that God has given us time after time after time after time after time after chance after chance after chance after chance. And then he says enough is enough. I remember the first time that I wanted to pray for somebody, God told me not to. I was like, wait a minute. I had to go to counseling. So I think I'm becoming an atheist. God ain't never told me not to pray for somebody. Because there are some people that they just ain't going to do no better. You have to turn some people over to a reprobate mind. That's their mindset. That's what they want. They don't want to get out. They want to stay in here. They want to stay on welfare. They want to get weak. They want to continue to get weak. They don't never want to get off. They want the cheese. They want the milk. You got to turn them over. Some of our folk love the project. That's what they like. Why we trying to make them? Why we trying to make them be something that they don't want to be? Leave them alone. I ain't write it. It's in the book. He told them, not only did he say don't pray for them, but he said don't even make no petition. Don't even intercede. Don't do nothing. Because these people have refused me. Now, it's a sad commentary. Listen, if folk don't want your God, they ain't got to have your God. Leave them alone. Let them go. All right, watch this. Y'all ain't ready for that. says, and God really went off in 16 through 18. Because after he said he ain't listening, he said, can't you see what they doing in the villages of Judah, in the streets? Why they got the children gathering wood while their father build fires and mothers make bread to be offered to the Queen of Heaven. And if that weren't bad enough, they go around pouring out limitations to any other god they come across. And God said, so you got another God, so you're being disrespectful to me. And so we do the same thing. We do the same thing. Even though this Old Testament and this was back in that time, we do the same thing because we put everything before God. Everything. Everything. People say, I don't put my job before God. Yes, you do. Because some of y'all scared to take off. Don't you know the company or the plant or wherever you work was running before you got the job? Don't you know it's going to run when you there? It's going to run when you not there? If you don't think that, die and see. They ain't even going to close it up for you. They might send a flower. They ain't gonna close it up. DCH ain't gonna close up. If Miss Barbara don't come to work tomorrow, she been out there a number of years, but it still ain't gonna close. Shelter State ain't gonna close down. If Andrea Parker
ain't gonna send no flowers.
say what? Oh, you gotta be in the flower fund. See that? You gotta even be in the flower fund at these jobs. No, you know Jim Walker ain't finna close for nobody. Bill Goodrich ain't finna close. Mercedes.
They said that if you down on the ground, you go, get down, everybody come out here.
Yeah.
But they do now when you're down on the ground, they won't pronounce you dead on the ground. They'll take you outside. Pronounce you dead where they say you didn't die.
Now you know that just low down.
But that's what they do. That's what they do.
I'm
You
glad
down
I'm working
ground,
on
they
that.
take you outside and pronounce you dead.
So you died outside.
Yeah.
Now come on, man. Okay, I ain't even deal with that. I ain't even deal with that. All right,
That's the way it is.
man. So, let me divert to let me see what I want to go. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. So you won't think that's just Old Testament. Go to Matthew chapter 5. Now I'll get to Matthew chapter 5. Verse, I guess we go down to verse 20. Well, do 17 through 20. Matthew chapter 5.
Don't suppose for a minute that I have come to demolish the scriptures, either God's law or the prophets. I'm not here to demolish but to complete. I'm going to put it all together, in a vast panorama. God's law is more real and lasting than the stars in the sky and the ground at your feet. Long after stars burn out and earth wears out, God's law will be alive and working. Civilize even the smallest item in God's law, and you will only have civilized yourself. But take it seriously, show the way to others, and you will find honor in the kingdom. Unless you do far better than the Pharisees in the matters of the right living, you won't know the first thing about entering the kingdom.
So basically, Jesus is saying, he was talking to the hypocrites and how he responded to their prayer, and he basically said, listen, basically what you need to do is show show the way for others, and you will find honor in the kingdom. Now, this is what we do. I mean, how can I say this? I think there are too many people in the kingdom that think that if you don't have a title, that you're not important, or that if you're not on a committee or board, or you're not heading something, that you like are less than. But you need to understand too much is given, much is, how did that go? Too much is given, much is required. So, case in point, this just ran out road. I talk to my mama every day. I've been doing that anyway, but you know, since my father passed, we've been really talking about a whole lot of stuff. So I was talking to my dad's sister a couple of months ago. I was telling Clicky this too. A couple of months ago, well, first of all, I was going through some of my dad's drawers and I found stuff from high school that my father had that belonged to me. Papers, things that I had in college. He even had my pharmacy tech license. I was a pharmacy tech. I worked my way through school, being a pharmacy tech. A couple of months ago, it might have been more than a month ago. It might around my dad's birthday, about May. My dad asked me, just now it makes sense. I was telling her, he asked me for a copy. First, he asked me for a copy of my degree. And then he said, no, don't give me a copy of your degree. He said, give me a copy of your transcript. Wow. I mean, I just want to see it. He was like, come to find out, a few months back, when my dad was enjoying life with his buddies, he had my transcript where they were, Brad. All right. So my aunt said, she said two things to me. She said, you and your daddy had a strange relationship. Yeah, we did. I love my dad. There was a lot of stuff he did I didn't like. He knew that. And she said, when she told me about the incident with the transcript where he was, she said, I want you to know something. She said, your daddy was very proud of you. He just didn't know how to say it. Because out of all your daddy's stuff, ain't none of your brother's stuff in there. He even had the letter when I moved to Jacksonville, when I was going to move the first time. I found the letter when I got pissed off with the pastor. And I told him I wasn't going to come, and he sent me some check and some money. He had that letter. I'm like, why did he have that? My aunt said, you ain't getting this. She said, where did you find this stuff? Watch this. She said, did you have to dig for it? I said, mm-hmm. I said, it was in the top drawer, on top of stuff. She said, now think about what you said. He meant for you to find it. I said all that to say this, that there are some people in the kingdom that we look over as insignificant because they don't have a title, and we say they are not as spiritual, but you can't judge nobody's relationship with God. You don't know what people do in their private time. You don't know that. And so what happens is people got to understand that if you in this thing that we call the kingdom of God, we in the kingdom of God, then it ain't your kingdom to say who can come or who can't. Like, this ain't your thing. We want these type of folk. I know some churches, they market these type of folk. Like, if you don't work at a certain place, they don't want you over here. And if you do come over there, they ain't going to let you in their ministry. It's happening. Believe it or not. I'm still talking about praying with wrong motives. Sometimes our prayers can't get answered because our motives are not pure. Now, here's the thing what I want to get to, and we're going to be done. You still got Matthew 5. All right, go over to Matthew 6. Verse, what was it? 5. All right, you got Matthew 6, verse 5. All right. Here's the thing. When you pray, let's talk about it. And when you come before God, the Message Bible says, don't turn that into a theatrical production. All these people making a regular show out of their prayers, hoping for stardom. Do you think God sits in a box seat? Here's what I want you to do. Find a quiet, secluded place so you won't be tempted to role play before God. Just be there as simply and honestly as you can manage. The focus will shift from you to God, and you will begin to sense His grace. Verse 7, the world is full of so-called prayer warriors who are prayer ignorant. They are full of formulas and programs and advice and peddling techniques for getting what you want from God. Don't fall for that nonsense. This is your Father you are dealing with, and He knows better than you what you need. With a God like this, loving God, you can pray very simply like this, then you repeat the Lord's Prayer. Our Father which art in heaven. So, a whole lot of stuff that folks stand up and pray about, and Grandmama said, it ain't even hitting the ceiling. No, Grandma never used to say that. You getting up, you praying so folk can say how good you pray. It ain't got nothing to do with God. He says you're role playing, and God don't need no box seat. Simplicity. Pray with simplicity. You ain't got to say no flowery words. Sometimes you just got to say, Lord, listen. You know. Boom, I'm done. Because He do know. But that ain't what we do. So your motives, when you pray, your motives got to be pure. So next time you pray, whenever that is, some of you say y'all pray every day. I don't. Okay? Because I ain't that deep. I mean, I don't pray every day. I don't read the Bible every day. Sometimes I don't know. I mean, I'm just being transparent. I'm not going to, some of you saying, oh, he's a pastor. I'm a realist. The Lord knows my heart. I mean, I don't pray every day. I mean, not like I should. I'm talking about, but when I'm talking about praying, I ain't talking about just calling word. I'm talking about showing up praying. Well, when you done felt the prayer, you done prayed so hard that you done showed enough felt the presence of God and to tow your own self up. And you look around trying to figure out, did somebody see you? Child, I'd have been like that. You prayed so hard, you'll pray yourself to sleep. I'm telling you, you'll feel better. So you got to make sure your motives are right, that you don't have the wrong motives, that God don't tell you, don't pray for it. Now, back to what Tanika said. I'm gonna close out with this. Don't leave here thinking that I said don't pray for individuals. I believe families need to pray, need to pray together, pray for the family. I believe all that. And I do believe that you need to pray for folk. But before you pray, you got to make sure that, because sometimes we pray, we are not P-R-A-Y-I-N-G. Sometimes we are P-R-E-Y. well, whatever. Preying. That's right. Sometimes we praying instead of praying. All right. And so you got to make sure when you do that, you got to make sure that you're actually praying and you're praying in earnest. And sometimes, honestly, I go to pray. You know, I don't know if this happened to anybody else in the room, but sometimes when I pray, God just starts speaking. Well, I attempt to pray, then He just starts talking. So you got to understand, you can't pray and hear God too. So after you pray about whatever your situation, I believe the problem is we don't wait for God to speak back. It's like, okay, God, I need you to do this. I want to be married by 2020. We need to be tall, dark, and handsome. We want a car, picket fence, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to get back with you in 2020. I'll holler at you. I mean, that's what we do. We don't give God a chance to speak back and say, that ain't the plan for your life. Your credit tore up. You ain't going to have no white picket fence. He ain't going to be tall, dark, and handsome. He's going to be short, dark, and stalking. But he's going to be what you need. See, you don't wait for God. Because when you pray, what you want, you just want. So you ain't waiting on God. You waiting on you. All right, any question? How many men do the same thing too? The same thing. They want Halle Berry. Somebody like that. Well, I don't know these nigga folk that need children watching. I have to stay with the folk I know. Nicki Minaj. No, I want to see what the folks look like without the makeup. Take some of them eyelashes off. That's what you're going to be married to. Because ain't nobody going to bed beat. You going to bed with no beat face. You can't do that. Wake up with a beat. Yo, that ain't real. You gonna go to bed with that black thing y'all put on y'all head? What that thing called? Bunny! Come on through with that bunny. Ah! You ain't see that in your project. No. You ain't see none of that. Y'all new age like y'all don't want to do like them old folk. Y'all don't want to put them pink foam rollers in you. Y'all don't want to do that, have your curls tight and things. Y'all want to flat eye with all that heat. Grandma said you don't need all that heat on you. Roll it up. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. So we gotta make some. Go ahead. What you think? Oh, I thought you said. Huh? Paper bag. You can roll your hair with paper bag. On the go. Well, God bless y'all. That's kind of new. That must be ghetto. You can do that. It's the same with the paper. What is that? Substitute for the other paper.
Here, lift it up.
I would like to see that. Oh, I ain't know about that. Oh, they don't do that no. Oh, okay. Well, I just know them foam rolls. Them pink foam rolls, that's all I know. All right. Any other question? So we got to pray with simplicity. Pray with simplicity when you pray. Yeah, I'm gonna stop right there. Now I finished the rest. Next week. So, y'all pray at night before you go to bed? I'm done. David.